What's going on YouTube? So it's your boy Mr. Me Too, back for another video. So in this video, it's gonna be a little bit different from my other videos. Mostly obviously I do moto vlogs, and kind of vlogging what I'm doing while I'm riding. But this one's gonna be a little bit different, just because I kind of want to show you guys what I'm gonna do here. As today basically I'm changing my clutch plates. So I'm going to show you first what tools you need when changing the clutch plates on your 01, 03 GSXR 600 or 1000 or 750. It's going to be all the same. Even I'm pretty sure the older models and the newer models is going to be pretty much the same, in the same realm of what you need to do. Of course, you want to look at the manual or look up videos or forums of how to do it, how to make sure you do the replacement of the clutch plates for your specific bike or year. But it's pretty much universal, at least for the Suzuki GSXRs. It's pretty universal and pretty simple, I think. I honestly just looked on YouTube and it's not too bad. The biggest part you're gonna need to know about this, and I'll kind of let you guys know, I already did this and took it out, so I've already did all of this and kind of went through the trials and tribulations, so I'm able to give you guys some feedback on what you really need to know when going through a project like this, a DIY project like this. So first, I'll kind of show you guys what you're gonna need in terms of tools. You're honestly not gonna need too many tools, to be honest with you. These simple tools will be pretty much all you need. So the first tool, one second here, guys. Anyways, so yeah, you're gonna need your ratchet set. So I got my ratchet here, regular ratchet you can get from any hardware store, automotive store. I have an extension on here just because it makes it easier for me for tight spaces or places that are kind of hard. For this, you honestly don't need the extension, but I like it. Just gives me more room to be able to screw out those bolts and stuff like that. So you're gonna need essentially, you're gonna need a 10 millimeter. So make sure you know this. You're gonna need a 10 millimeter for this project. What you need to do, you need a 10 millimeter. You're gonna need a 17 millimeter. You're gonna need a set of Allen keys. I have them in millimeters, so you're gonna need the 5 millimeter Allen key. One of my bolts, I don't know, maybe if it's been stripped or what the case may be, but I also needed a T30. I forget what it's called. It's called like a Torx, Torx. Basically styled head. So you either get actual like rent or Allen keys that are Torx specific. Torx has the Torx ends, or you can kind of get a head for a bit where like your drill, or one that can go inside one of these handheld ratcheting screwdrivers, basically. So this is a ratchet screwdriver, so I can essentially put that end a bit in here, and it's exactly like a ratchet. But yeah, you get the point there. But for this clutch plate specifically, you're probably gonna want to do these things handheld and not use a drill. If you want to do a drill, of course, by any means, go ahead. But personally, I wouldn't use a drill just because it's a bit too much power for something like these, where you're gonna need to kind of crank them by hand for the most part. Also, you're gonna need to take off your side fairing, which, at least for my bike, the 03 GSXR 01, 03, it's simple. All you need is your Allen key. So go to Home Depot, any hardware store, get one of these sets, which have all pretty much most of the sizes you need for your bike, and you should be set. So I'll kind of go into what we're gonna be taking off first. So it's already off here right now. So if you guys look here, you're gonna have to take off your side fairing. So we got the side fairing off. We don't have it completely off, but we have it pretty much off there. The reason why you take off your side fairing, obviously, clutch plate is going to be right there. That's where the clutch plate goes, connecting the gasket and the cover. But the main thing is also your oil. So When you're doing this, obviously you're gonna, as where the oil is rotating within the clutch base, stuff like that, that's where you pour your oil. You're gonna need to make sure you drain your oil first. That's why you need the 17mm socket and your ratchet to be able to get that bolt out at the bottom of the bike. I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys. Let's see if my GoPro will be able to get it. Oil pan down there, but essentially, where is it? Let me see if I can get it here. So you see it right there. That is where the oil drain plug would be. So essentially, like I said, you use that 17mm and you'll be good to go. Besides that, after you take off that side fairing, you unscrew the bolt at the bottom there, get that bolt out, flush the oil. I have a oil pan from Canadian Tire, like you can get it at any hardware store. Flush your oil out, you're good to go. After you do that, you're now gonna want to go on to the clutch casing. So this is the clutch casing here. Clutch casing is gonna have about 10 bolts. As you can see in here, I have them kind of lined up in the order that I took them out in. Don't worry, I kind of have them all here. But yeah, you're gonna have them there, have them lined up neatly. Those, like I said, all you need is your Allen key, 5mm Allen key. One of them, I believe it's this one. I just needed to use the T30 bit, and I was able to get it out. So yeah, Allen key for most part, and if you need some other heads, obviously I got the T30 is what I needed to use. It's the same fitment, but just the shape is a little bit different, more rigid, so I was able to get that one out. So yeah, clutch casing is essentially how it's gonna look. You're gonna have your clutch case, obviously, which goes here. You got your clutch case on. This usually looks like this. Oops. So it looks like that essentially. You have the springs. The springs, like I said, all you're gonna need for the springs after you get all those bolts out, you're gonna need to use your ratchet. Use this one is the 10mm. That gets out the springs that we have here. You're gonna just ratchet them out, get the springs out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 springs. You're good to go. When you do that, you pull this off. This comes out no problem. Yeah, this come out no problem. When that's done, when you do that, you're pretty much done for the long haul. You then want to go to your clutch plates. I have my clutch plates just chilling here in the order that I took them out in. But essentially, you want to line them up. You're gonna line up friction plates, steel plates. Friction plate first. As you can see here, I have them lined up. Friction plate, then steel plate, friction plate, steel plate, friction plate, steel plate, friction plate, steel plate, all the way till the end. I will let you guys know this friction plate that has this kind of rubber on one of the ends, that is the first plate to go in. Okay guys, letting you know, you're gonna see one of these, this friction plate with this kind of tab here, that is the first friction plate that needs to go in, and you follow it with a steel friction, and you make sure you put it in the exact same way. I'll kind of talk about it when I go through it. I'm going to do a time lapse, but essentially when you get to the last one, you're going to make sure you turn this last friction plate one over so it locks in, and that's it. Everything will be in. You bolt everything back up. Torque spec wise, you're supposed to torque it down to 10 Newton meters. But if you know what 10 Newton meters are and you've kind of worked on things before, and I've kind of, like I said, trial and tribulations, 10 Newton meters pretty much hand tighten. So you want to make sure you just tighten it pretty well with your hand, with your, like I said, either your ratcheting screwdriver or with your ratchet, and tighten them as well you can, or with your Allen key, tighten them down, and you should be good. There shouldn't be any worries. The one thing you're gonna need. This is what the trial and tribulation. I'm gonna let you guys know that I kind of went through, because I've already, like I said, I already had to do this and I have to redo it. The reason being is my first time, obviously, changing everything over, changing my clutch plates on this bike. The video I watched, the guy did a gasket maker. I ended up putting a red gasket maker, which is essentially a little less time you have to let it heal, and also the temperature that you can have it, the temperature that it can go up to is a little bit higher. So it's a higher grade, or a lower grade, sorry. And then someone I know said, hey man, because I was telling the person, hey, I'm getting a leak still. I was still getting oil dripping, and I'm like, oh my god. Obviously with gasket makers, there still can be little its and pieces and spots and holes around the gasket casing, around the casing, as you can see there, that can have oil seep through. And of course that's not good. You can get on your tires, your bike starts smoking, lots of different things. It's just not hazardous, it's not safe. So it was annoying me, so I put a black gasket maker on there. That was supposed to seal it a little bit better. It still was, leaking a tad bit. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just see if I can get a gasket. So I actually obviously got a gasket from Suzuki. Oops. It honestly was like, what did it say? 20 bucks. Nothing. It was nothing to get this. I should have got this in the first place. But obviously, like I said, rookie, first time. I watched the video. The guy didn't use this. I thought I was good to go. I recommend using this. Everyone says you have a gasket for it. Get the actual gasket, because it's gonna seal things properly, and there's not gonna be any of that issue with some places being uneven and stuff like that. So yeah, make sure, like I said, these are the tools you need: ratchet, 10mm, 17mm for your oil, a T30 bit or head for one of the screws, for me at least. Your Allen keys, a 5mm Allen keys you're going to need for these bolts that I have on here. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead right now. I'm going to put this on a time lapse and kind of trek through this clutch plate installation. Hopefully I can kind of get this up running pretty quickly. And then tomorrow, hopefully we start it up, there's no leaking, and I can finally just kind of put this project to rest. It's been 13 minutes of me talking about this, so hopefully you guys aren't bored. But like I said, I want to make this as detailed and easy as possible for you guys. For the next person that's just like me, that wants to kind of do something like this, this is as detailed as possible. You know the tools, you know kind of the trials and tribulations you're gonna face, so you don't kind of make the same mistakes I did. Alright guys, gloves and all ripped. Definitely I recommend get some gloves. Just saves your hands from getting messy, greasy, and kind of, yeah. Anyways, so that's done. Got all the clutch plates in there. I don't know if you guys could see, so I put every single friction plate in this tab here, and the last one I put it one to the right. You can put it one to the left or one to the right, doesn't matter, just make sure it's one over. Like I said, friction steel until you're done. And if you don't know how many, I forgot how many is supposed to be in there. When you take out your clutch plates, count the friction, count the steels, and make sure when you're ordering you buy the exact same amount of friction and steel, and you're installing the same amount. I think that's easier, that's common sense, but just for some people, so they don't know, you can't leave one out, whatever. So now Should I put this back on here? I don't know what you call this, to be honest with you. I'm sure, I think honestly, we're going to put this front side up. So I'm gonna put it this way. Whoa. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna put it there. And then you're just gonna take your springs. Hopefully you guys can see that. You're gonna take your springs and you're just gonna screw them in just like that. Take your springs. Sorry, my videography is a little shaky, but yeah, do that for all of them. And then you're gonna screw them in, tie them, wrench them in with your 10mm socket and wrench that we have here. I'm gonna turn it this way. Obviously, it's not gonna do anything now because I gotta screw it in some more. But yeah, you get the drift. Put them all in, screw, and you tighten them down with your hand, and you should be good. All right. So I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna videotape that. So I'm gonna screw those down, and then I'll resume after. All right, guys. So got everything back on. Got the springs in with the 10mm socket with the wrench. Wrench that down, and then obviously put the actual gasket cover on. Gasket cover, just essentially, it's like you doing a puzzle. You literally just place how the gasket cover is shaped. You just line it up exactly with the actual physical gasket or clutch casing, however you want to call it itself. Line it up. You literally put it on the actual casing itself that's kind of bolted to the frame. There's two holes that where you screw in your bolts that kind of come out. They should come out like, so they're male, so they come out. There's two of them, so that's kind of, there's a spot on the actual gasket that you buy that you just kind of slide those in the holes, and I kind of make sure those align. When those align, obviously everything else will look clean, but there's no way else you can put it on there. So it's literally like you just plug and play like a puzzle. So just make sure it fits properly. That's it. It can only be fit one way, especially if you bought the right gasket, you're fine. So I put it on, then tighten down the actual clutch or gasket casing, or the casing itself, with my torque wrench, or my wrenching screwdriver, with the T30 Torx bit or end, and also kind of went over it with my actual 5mm Allen key, just to make sure it's tightened down. Like I said, if you want to do it specifically to the book, I'm pretty sure it's 10 Newton meters foot-pound, or 10 Newton meters torque. If you want to do that and you have the tools for that, I don't have a 10 Newton meter, and I actually tried to do that before, and it was hell to kind of get one of those, and I was going to spend $200 on one of those. 10 Newton meters, literally hand strength. So you should be fine. Just torque it down, or not torque it down, just tighten it down as well as possible. Use your own judgment. If you really feel like you can't do it, take it to a mechanic or get the actual 10 Newton meter spec and do it yourself. Besides that, put it on. Now what I'm about to do, so I said I got it all on there. I also tightened the actual the bolt for the oil, where the oil pan is at the bottom, where the oil bolt for the bottom. I tightened that back up with the 17mm socket with the ratchet, like I said. So that's tightened up. So now what we're gonna do, we're just going to put the oil back in the bike. So literally just like this, we're gonna fill the oil back up. That tells you, I don't know if you guys can see with the lighting, right here will tell you there's a full, F for full, low here. Essentially you want to usually get it to around full with the bike centered. But yeah, so we're gonna do that and then we will be done. Alright guys, so I have installed the new clutch plates, took the old ones out, installed the new ones, put the oil back in the bike. Bike is up and running. Right now I just have the bike running on the stand just to see if any oil is kind of dripping out before I kind of tighten up everything. I've already tightened up the clutch, the gasket and everything, the clutch casing, all that stuff. That's all secured. I just gotta make sure there's no leakage, so I didn't fully tighten the fairings and everything like that. I kind of just have one screw or one bolt on, just so I can kind of have the bike running and kind of testing out. So this is sound check, just to look. So we're at about 171. Give her some revs. She's all warmed up. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the neighbor was looking at me when I was revving a bit. Good. So yeah guys, you guys heard a little startup of the bike. I'm gonna go for a ride a little bit later, so we'll make sure it's for sure not leaking later, but I think it's good to go. Just gotta wipe it down, do some actually bike clean, everything like that. Still have some fairings that are a little cracked on there right now because obviously I said this is turning into a track bike essentially, so not really it's not really the best looking right now, but it'll get there. But yeah, that's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, guys. Really appreciate any support. We're in the early stages of this channel. Don't know where it's gonna go. Like I said, I just document me riding, me doing roads, me having fun, doing what I love. So and obviously, like, this is another video, like I said, is a little bit different where I'm actually working on my bike, and I usually work on my bike, to be honest with you guys. Like, I actually find it fun. This will be a video of me changing my spark plugs on here. I'm changing my air filter. Like, there's a lot of things I can do to my bike that I've done. Change the subframe, change the stay, front stay. How to change different things on there. Honestly, the only thing I really haven't done on this bike is done, like, I don't know, like take my brakes off and the tires off, because I don't have the actual right tools for it. But honestly, the more and more you actually work on your bike, or even just work on things that are yours, or you handle them yourself, the gratitude when things are done is so much more rewarding than you just sending it off to someone. And don't mind me, that's some things for some people don't have that in them, where they can't do it, they don't trust themselves. To each his own. But for me, I get a certain gratification for working on my bike and working on my own toys. So yeah, like I said guys, so I'm gonna kind of clean up a little bit. Like I said, we're gonna take the bike out for a little ride later, just to make sure everything's all clicking and everything's good. But I think we're good to go, at least clutch casing and gasket wise. Yeah, so hopefully gets a couple more rides in before the winter comes out here in Toronto, Canada. This week's supposed to be some decent weather, so we're gonna try to make the best of it, honestly, because I'm not ready to pack it up. But yeah. Yes sir, guys. So we're back for another video. Yes sir, ladies and gentlemen. So kind of going
do the motions of the bike right now. They're changing the clutch plates, and so far so good. Shifts feel clean, down shifts feel clean. Like I said, after riding it and getting to my destination, I'm going to the gym right now.